I thought we dug ourselves a hole there in the third quarter and did a really, really good job fighting back, getting in the game. It was starting to get away from us a little bit and obviously regained the lead. I thought we had some opportunities and some plays that we didn't make necessarily coming down the stretch. Certainly I thought the free throw line hurt us tonight. And, we missed a lot of plays around the basket that we had an opportunity to finish. And then give them credit. They needed to make some plays, and they made them, when they needed to.
What do you make of kind of those driving layups, ball goes out of bounds, shot gets blocked at the rim? Is there anything that you take away from that? Did you feel like those were the types of looks that you wanted and just ball bounced the wrong way?
We got downhill in front of the. I think the one play that I thought Russell had, I don't know if it was to put us up one or maybe tie the game. Like I thought he had a great lefty drive there. He just didn't make it. It was, I don't want to say it was uncontested, but he obviously makes a high percentage of those. It wasn't overly challenged in what he has gone up against. So, we had some plays to make. We had some free throws to make. We had some plays that we were able to make, some shots we were able to make. We didn't, and they did. Again, I thought the free throw line hurt us because we got to the free throw line more than they did, and we weren't able to really capitalize at probably the level we needed to. I thought we did a lot of good things, coming off an emotional game and a hard-fought game in San Antonio. I thought our guys battled and fought when we got back behind. I thought when Raymond and Alex kind of subbed into the game and, the second unit came in there, Patrick, Jeremy, they gave us some life. And, we were kind of down by, 15, 17, and we just kept battling and fighting and got right back in the game. It's a credit to them.
Billy, I think this is the 10th or 11th time this season you guys have been under 60% from the free throw line. Can you wrap your head around what's happening there?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel good about our guys. At the free throw line, but we've missed some free throws in some situations. Certainly coming down the stretch, of some games. That's part of it. You want to get to the free throw line. We're getting there. That's a good thing. I thought we maybe took 6 or 7 more free throws than they did tonight. But, you want to be able to capitalize and convert them. And, we weren't able to do it maybe certainly at a high enough level tonight.
Billy went with Jeremy down the stretch there in the fourth quarter. What did you see from him tonight that led to that decision?
Yeah, it was kind of a hard thing. I was, wanted to put Melo back in the game, but I think that unit was playing so well at that particular time. We were on a pretty good run. We were playing good. Jeremy made a 3 when I put Carmelo back in. And, Carmelo's always been a team guy. I think he felt like, okay, Jeremy's playing well, let him go, let him play. I put Carmelo back in the overtime. Jeremy absorbed a lot of minutes. He got in there relatively early for Steven in that third quarter and played all the way to the end. I probably extended his minutes too long there, to be honest with you. But Jeremy did a good job and played well, and just kind of stuck with him because it was like right around that time where that group out there was playing pretty well, and we just kind of went with them. Considering the fact, I think we had to spend so much energy to get back because we weren't in it. I thought maybe we can gain some momentum and make some plays, maybe extend the lead even further.
Billy, just to be clear, from where we were sitting, it looked like Carmelo took himself out of that checking in. Did he come back and tell you?
Well, I think, and I've done it before. Steven did the same thing. Sometimes, and I give our guys a lot of credit for this. Sometimes when you're subbing a guy in a normal rotation and all of a sudden a guy gets going a little bit, a guy will say, let him go, let him go. And I think that's what Carmelo did. Jeremy made a 3 out of the corner. He was playing well, and he said, let's let him keep going. And, I respect that. Steven kind of did the same thing when he was getting ready to come back in. Jeremy and Patrick were playing well. I kind of put him back in, and, he was like, hey, listen, what do you think, Coach? It's, these guys are going well. And I'm fine with that because that to me, that's a sign of unselfishness, of wanting someone else to do well.
Billy, coming into the game, you knew Jokic and Millsap and their playmaking ability was going to be tough. What was maybe the most challenging aspect of dealing with those guys off the dribble going towards the bucket?
It's like I said before the game, you're not just dealing necessarily with them as post-up players. It's them on the perimeter, putting it down, shooting the ball, driving it. They're hard guys to guard because if you're not switching those two guys, because if you start switching, you're putting guards on those guys and they can post. And if you put 2 on the ball to cover pick and roll, they've got space to make plays. And obviously Millsap, I was concerned early in the game, he made his first three and he kind of got going. He made his first couple shots. And, generally when that happens for him, he's been a guy that can kind of get on a pretty good roll.
Coach, your last 4 losses are a combined 9 points. They've all been right down to the wire. Any frustration this close to the playoffs, not being able to convert these into wins?
I wouldn't use the word frustration, but I would, certainly I think there's been things as it relates to, execution. Certainly the free throw line has hurt us in 2 of those 4 games. I think the San Antonio game, I didn't think we executed very well. I thought we did a pretty good job executing and generating the shots that we wanted. I feel bad for Paul because Paul made an incredible, hustle play on a free throw rebound, and then he had an opportunity to kind of put us up 3, and he made 1 of the 2. But without that rebound, we probably wouldn't even been in that situation. I think the Portland game was rebounding, and I think we were heading that way today against Denver. We did not do a good job rebounding the basketball. I give our guys a lot of credit because I think that was a physical, hard-fought game last night, and then you're playing against a team that's certainly sitting here in Oklahoma well-rested and trying to get in the playoffs. You knew you can get their best shot. And, even when we got down, our guys battled and fought to get themselves back in the game. That could have really went in a different direction. And I give our guys a lot of credit for giving ourselves an opportunity to win the game.
Russ has won a lot of games at crunch time with his shots. Were you hoping for a better look from him at the end of regulation?
I try to, coming out of timeout was trying to get him on a drive, to get him to drive it. They did a pretty good job of kind of shutting that off. I tried to give him, maybe an angle to drive, and they did a good job shutting it off. And then from there, give him space. And then, let him make a play from there. And I've said, even, yesterday, I trust him in those situations when the ball's in his hands, because he's got to feel comfortable of what he's creating and what he's generating, either for himself or somebody else. And I think, the minute you get into telling him, hey, listen, I want you to do A, B, and C, and the defense kind of takes those things away, you're leading him into a situation that can be very, very difficult. So I was comfortable with the way they defended it and comfortable that he had space, and wanting to give him the option to either drive or to pull up. I thought he created a good shot for himself. I didn't think he took a bad shot. He just, he had an opportunity to make it, didn't make it.